Hey everyone, this is Stacy with SF Johnson Consulting and Construction Services. And in this video, audio presentation, I'm going to give you information on reciprocity and your state. And, well, not necessarily your state, but the state that you are looking to get your license in. And in many cases, it is easy. So let's begin with Georgia. Okay. For electrical, you may apply for reciprocity if you hold a current license and it has to be obtained by examination in one of the recognized states. So for Georgia, one of the recognized states is Alabama, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. And so, if you hold your license in any of those states by reciprocity, the electrical contractor can also have get the license there. So, not only for electrical, it also applies for general commercial building contractors. Okay, and definitely that is something you should look into. I'm doing it right now for three of my clients, and there's a lot of paperwork to go through, but I guide them through the paperwork and we get it done pretty quickly. So if this is something you're interested in for 2026, I would definitely recommend that you do that. Reach out to me at education at sfjohnsonconsulting.com and I'll be more than happy to help you. All right, now let's go to Louisiana. For Louisiana, reciprocity applies to residential, commercial, electrical, and mechanical. Okay. And it is via of course, like they all are, the state licensing board. So out of state contractors from reciprocal states may receive credit and avoid the exam. Okay. You must apply for the Louisiana license even if the trade exam is waived, but you must not have any disciplinary actions within the past 3 years. Okay. And so out of state contractors again for Louisiana. Now, you have to look at your state and just send me an email and let me know if you are one of the reciprocal states for Louisiana. It's a little more confusing than it is for Georgia. Okay. So, but residential, commercial, electrical, and mechanical contractors, uh, you can have reciprocity in the state. And they may credit you and you can avoid the exam. Okay. Mississippi, reciprocity equals a waiver of the trade exam only. Okay. And so, yeah, if you are granted reciprocity, you do not have to. And that's what we mean when we say reciprocity. We're really talking about, do I have to take the trade exam? Okay. You will, in most cases, have to take the commercial, um, what's the equivalent of the business and law? And every state calls it something different, but the general name for the test state by state is business and law because you have to know the business properties that apply to that state and all the tax laws that apply to that state. And so, in many cases, you do have to take that exam. And so, when we're talking about, again, reciprocity, we're talking about you being able to waive the trade exam, which is the hardest of the exams. In some of the states, they allow you to take the book in with you for business and law, but it really depends state by state. So, again, for Mississippi, you must pass the business and law exam, and uh, you, in all cases, you have to be in good standing. All right, let's talk about North Carolina. And for North Carolina, electrical is reciprocal, general contracting is reciprocal. Okay, and here for North Carolina, we are given the reciprocal states: South Carolina, Tennessee, Louisiana, Georgia, and Mississippi. Okay, so again, if you hold a license in good standing in South Carolina, Tennessee, Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, you can get your reciprocal license in North Carolina. Okay, now let's see some details for electrical. Your out of state license must be unlimited. Okay, and for contracting, your waiver only, yeah, it only covers the exam. Okay, not the full license. You must still apply, and in all cases, I mean, they put that in there, but in all cases, you must apply for the license. That's what we're doing. We're applying for the license. You have a license in good standing in a state. This state is a reciprocal state, meaning, yes, you can apply for the license and get it without taking the exam. In some cases, you have to take business and law, and in all cases, we help you get through the business and law portion. Okay. What else? Background checks, the typical stuff. Background checks will be required. You will be required to have a business license as well in that state. Okay, so my Louisiana clients who are getting their license in Georgia, they're getting the utility license as well as the unlimited electrical license. Well, yes, they have to take, well, the utility test for Georgia is its own test, but each one of them have to provide references, 3 references, background check, and a verification from the police from your district you live in that you have been a good citizen. Okay, so all those things will apply. Okay, so North Carolina, again, the reciprocal states are South Carolina, Tennessee, Louisiana, Georgia, and Mississippi. Now, going to South Carolina, they do offer reciprocity, again, waiver of the technical trade exam for contractors from certain states. And in this case, for South Carolina, you're reciprocal if you have a good license in good standing in Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Okay, and that is for limited and unlimited building license. Even if the trade exam is waived, of course, you must still take the South Carolina Business Management Survey. That's the name that it's called in South Carolina, and it's called the Business Management and Law Exam. But business and law, in most cases, you do have to take that test, but that's easy to pass as opposed to your trade license. Okay, experience and financial statements are also requirements. Okay, experience, of course, and financial statements you'll have to submit in South Carolina. For Tennessee, uh, the reciprocals, trades, general building contractor, electrical, uh, residential, and HVAC. Okay, so reciprocity equals the trade exam waiver only, as in most states. Okay, you can still apply for the Tennessee license. For certain states, Alabama and Georgia, it's electrical only. Okay, so if you are from Alabama and Georgia, the reciprocity only applies to electrical. Okay, for Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, it's commercial only. Okay, so Tennessee is a little more strict based on the type of uh, uh, license you can that is reciprocal, but it's possible. Electrical and commercial general building license. You must pass the business and law exam for Tennessee. Okay, and of course, in all cases, you still have to uh, get the license. That's what we're doing. So when we talk about reciprocity again, you have to have your trade license in your state. A reciprocal state accepts your trade license if you are in good standing, but you still have to get a background check, business license, to a license to do business in that state, like you have in the state that you're currently in. I said background checks, police verifications, and of good standing, I guess, depends on the state, and also references. Okay, so you can get the license, but it's other stuff involved. Okay, and that is, did we do, that was Tennessee. Virginia, electrical, and uh, possibly general contractor. Possibly. Okay, Virginia has reciprocal exemptions, of course, for the electrical trades in states like, let's see, the reciprocity for Virginia is Alabama and North Carolina. Okay, for Virginia, it's Alabama and North Carolina. Okay, verification, they got to verify, of course. And the licensing board for your state will send the verification to the desired state. All of that is just a process that we go through. Okay. And if you are interested, you can visit the website sfjohnsonconsulting.com, and we have a tab for license reciprocity. Click on that, gives you all the information you need, including the cost, and then I'll reach out to you and we'll set what we call our roadmap. When we do this, I set aside or I create a personal communication hub for the clients so you can upload all of the documents that we need there. I can input notes, you input notes, and it's private, and everything is uploaded to a personal cloud where no one has access to it. It doesn't get lost in the email, and everything that we communicate is in a general log that you can print and you can keep. Okay, so I make this very easy for my clients. And if you are interested, again, visit our website, sfjohnsonconsulting.com. We'll get you set for 2026. It really depends on, because my first client, they were having trouble in Nevada with the fingerprinting and nobody was getting back to them. So it just took calling and calling and emailing and emailing. And within a week, everything started moving along. And so it really depends on, how you quickly you are in getting me the paperwork we need to submit. I charge a fee, but also you have to have the fees available for your for the license. And for my client from California that got the Nevada General Buildings GC's license, he had to come. I mean, part of that he had to have a $10,000 bond, and yeah, he got it, and bond for this, bond for that, and but we walk you through it. So a couple additional notes and caveats, uh, that you should be aware of. The classification of your license does matter, and the license for that state does matter. So whether we're talking about unlimited, a commercial license, residential, electrical contractor, master electrician, okay, etc. Okay, of course they all have different scopes, and we you must match that certification in the new state. Okay. Another caveat is in order to get reciprocity, your license would have had to be obtained through exam, right? So you can't get the license from reciprocity. Many states only allow reciprocity, okay? If your original license was obtained through examination, right? Not by endorsement or grandfathering or a conversion, okay? You have to have passed the exam, be in good standing, and then the reciprocal state will accept you, okay? Another one, just said it, good standing. Most reciprocity waiver rules really do require no disciplinary actions in your home state. Okay. And that's very important. And it's usually for a particular amount of time 3, 4, 5 years. In terms of Louisiana, for sure, because that's what I've been working, it's 3 years. And so, yeah, good standing must be there. Okay. Also, still apply in the target states. Okay. Even if a trade exam is waived, you typically must still apply, okay, for the license in the new state. That's how that works. It's not your license in Louisiana just rides through all the other states. No, you're doing this so you can get a valid license in the new state. Okay. So again, even if the trade exam is waived, and that's usually what we're talking about here, you typically still have to apply for licensure in the new state. Okay, submit your verification of your current license. You have to pay the fees. Okay, and you have to meet other local requirements for that state, and specifically the business and law exam. Okay, like my California uh, GC that's going to Nevada, he had very strict, detailed insurance and bonding requirements that he had to uh, submit. Of course, you have to submit your experience and financial statements. So, depending on the state, those are things you need to be aware of. Okay. Now, reciprocity is not an automatic permission to operate. Okay. Holding a license in one state doesn't automatically allow you to work in another under that license. Okay. So you're able to work there, but there are things like I'm talking about. You have to get the license, you have to get the bonding, you have to get the insurance. You must obtain your license in the target state first, okay, under the reciprocity rules. And so, again, I'm probably overdoing it, but yeah, you have your license in California, and this whole process is getting you that same classification of license in a different state. Okay. Verify the specific trade board. I had that problem where my client was applying to a totally wrong trade board. Okay, so the licensing may fall under different boards: electrical, plumbing, HVAC, general contractor in each state. So you have to make sure you know the reciprocity rules and how they vary by state. And I cover that for you. Okay, and last but not least, licensing laws. Okay, you need to always check for updates on licensing laws and reciprocity agreements because they can change. Okay, always check, and I do that for you, the current board, the information before we rely on it, and I do all that for you. As 10 years of previous claims adjuster for contractors, this is like second nature. And so I would recommend, just like if you're a minority owned firm or a woman owned firm, that you take advantage of those things too to build your business and create more income than you could ever imagine. People all over, especially in these southern states, need really good, qualified contractors. And if you can do it, I can help you do it. This is Stacy, SF Johnson Consulting and Construction Services. Tell me what you think and leave me a note at education at sfjohnsonconsulting.com.